Happy Wednesday, Master Naima here. Pardon me for being a little tardy. I was watering my plants and I hadn't decided what I was going to wear, so that took a little longer than normal. So look at me. So today's topic of getting your ass kicked. Agreeing to get your ass kicked so that you learn to kick ass. So I am in some form of meditation 95% of the time in my life, and thinking about you and me and the collective and what's going on in the world, and the attempt at correction. I look at what's going on in the world as all kind of wrongs trying to be righted, and that's even a lower dimension way. It's really restoring universal law, and in the energy of that, the energy of universal law. So today's topic of agreeing to get your ass kicked so you learn to kick ass is a result of me looking at what it's genuinely going to take for those of us who have very clear ideas of what we are meant to do here in the world through our businesses, through our movements, through our initiatives, whatever we're doing. And as we are doing our own meditating and looking at it, and we're realizing, like, wow, the kind of power, personal power, the level of integrity, personal integrity that is going to take, the team that it's going to take, the responsibility, us taking responsibility and what that's going to take. And when I look at how I've been able to become this embodied version of myself that so many of you are attracted to because you're looking for that in yourself. Say hi, Facebook. I see you showing up. Say hi. Let me know who's here and what you have to say about this, because sometimes it expands what's happening here. When I look at how I've gotten to this place of embodiment, there's been, as I said before, this punching in the throat, and so now I'm able to talk about it now in a way I did not 2, 3, 4 years ago. There was always this way where I would, as this other mentor I know, place the venom inside the candy. You know, I would always sell you, I lived 4 years in Europe. I built my 7-figure online business while living in Europe. I moved to Europe in 2015 and came back here to the United States August of last year. And so I would always sell the sizzle. I would always sell, come gallivant around Europe like me. I would always, I know you want to travel. I know you want to, all the material things, because for many of us, we do, regardless of how much we try to discount it, because, spirituality and money don't go together, and spirituality and material don't go together, or how much we don't want to be looked at as greedy or only in it for the material things. The truth is, there are very much material things that we wish for, whether that is travel or to be able to get weekly 2-hour massages and not settling for a 1-hour massage once a month, right? Or really eating richly in every meal, and not only for dinner because you can't afford to really eat the way you would like to eat, or you like to really be able to buy these premium oils and premium hair products or ingredients to make your own products and do things more richly, and yet you convinced yourself of fill in the blank, being responsible, and there are starving children. How dare I have more than enough, and right, all that. And so there was a lot of me inserting the venom inside of the candy and wrapping it with all of this travel without, looking at the price tag and this kind of a thing. And it's sold. Follow me, stay with me, stay here. So it's sold, right? Because so many of us, we do desire these material things. And what I didn't sell, like I would talk about it, but I wasn't really position it as primary. I didn't really sell the ass kicking that it takes to really become embodied, to be able to manifest vast things, your vast vision. Hey, say hi to me. What it really takes to manifest whatever the thing is, fill in the blank. I use money and sex. Well, I started off really, right, with healing sexual trauma because there's so much potency in sex, there's so much potency in money. And money is a great measuring stick. You want to know if you have a financial goal of $5,000 a month and you aren't hitting it, it's a great measuring stick for, am I embodying? Am I manifesting? Like, am I really doing this? Right? Hey, Siri. So that's why I love money. And also because the tool that money is, what it allows us to do. You know what I mean? I was thinking about, when COVID was hot, or still hot, but when it was like March, April, May, and it was hot. I don't know about you, but I saw Cash Apps and GoFundMe's and fundraisers everywhere. Folks looking for money to do this. Somebody lost their job and they was looking for groceries for that. Somebody was starting some initiative and money for this. Some business was on the verge of closing that had been around for 50 years and looking for money for that. Another Facebook friend of mine crossed a woman who had 4 kids and was toting luggage on a train. And she got the lady's Cash App and folks was giving money to that. I just saw everywhere. Hey, Fernando. And it was nice to be able to give money, right? And I was thinking, like, how many people wished, I saw like folks was trying to do like $5,000 and they were only able to raise $1,000. So just think if they had the full $5,000 that they could just give to that business that they've been frequenting for the last 3 years, this mom and shop that they've been frequenting for the last 3 years, that's now getting ready to collapse because of COVID, and you have become so embodied and learn how to get your ass kicked and manifest money that you can be the one to give them $5,000 to stay open. You understand what I'm saying? This is the kind of tool that money is. And so, one, that's why this 5-day Money Vortex exists. So get your ass inside of the 5-day Money Vortex. The link is with this video for you to request, for you to send us your email. Then we'll receive you details and an invitation. So that's that. And then 2, why I no longer only sell and position the sizzle, the candy. Hold on. It's telling me here that it's unable to connect to the chat. I wonder if someone is, maybe it will in time. So I am saying point blank right here that, and I'm so proud of this. I am so honored to have gone through what I have gone through, to be here today, to support you and your vessel and your voice and your work, and learning how to get your ass kicked, staying with you in your ass kicking. You can call an ass kicking a spiritual attack. That's another expression of it. You can call it, fill in the blank. There's so many expressions people have for having these experiences where, you're blessed. The thing you've been praying for is in front of you, and you say yes to it, and you're excited, and you're alive, and you're like, my ancestors told me to do it, and I know this is a yes, and this is a full body yes, and I am going, oh my God, this is extraordinary. You say that today. You know that today. You feel that today. And tomorrow or next week, your car breaks down. Somebody dies. You get some negative comments on Facebook. Your energy is feeling low. And all of a sudden, everything that was on point today, full body yes, full body chills. Ancestors said, yes, I'm in this for the long term. This is my time. I am ascending. This is for my people. Today, next week, oh no, oh no, oh no. This shit don't feel right now. My energy is low. I had a dream last night. Look at all of this shit that's just there. And You understand what I'm saying? Here at Melon and Sovereignty, you learn how to withstand, circumvent, and become bigger than spiritual attacks, bigger than getting your ass kicked, bigger than other people, large numbers of people disagreeing with you. You know how many women over the years have paid thousands to work with me, who have sent me letters in tears, telling me how ready they are. Now is the time. Their ancestors told them they're sick and tired of struggling, that they have been through it all, that they have what it takes, that they are committed. And I take them at their word. They have a month later, they have a bad week. I had a woman, engineer. Naima, I'm ready. This woman invested $12,000 for us to work together. Engineer, highly educated, powerful woman. Wife, mother, business owner, 9 to 5. She was trying to take her spiritual gifts, get out of her 9 to 5 as an engineer and bring her spiritual gifts to the marketplace. Naima, I am ready. Now is my time. She had had experience of abuse in her past. She was like, I'm taking my power back. Now is my time, right? Convicted, clear, ready. I mean, I've seen it. I know it. That's why I interview the way I do. It's why I look people in the eye when I can in person the way I do. It's why I'm no longer selling the sizzle and I'm selling the motherfucking steak. You agree to get your ass kicked. All these statues that's coming down, that even white folks tearing them down. London, all in the South, France, motherfuckers is tearing them down. You know what's also coming down with that? Veils. The veils that caused you to buy the sizzle, to buy all the candy, and conveniently ignore the steak, conveniently ignore the spiritual tax that you must learn to withstand, right? That's what this whole container, when you go beyond just looking at me on a video and you come behind the scenes and you invest with your money, your full presence, and you agree to fucking fight, right? And we still feminine in our fight. Don't get it twisted, because I'll lay my ass down in the middle of the day for an hour and forget about all you motherfuckers when it's necessary. Lay down, go take a long shower, close my eyes, burn some candles, let all this shit go so I can restore. So don't get it twisted. We not doing like how the women before us did, burning ourselves out, burning out adrenals and shit. We don't do that over here. We rest. Okay? So back to this, right? This is what we doing here on Melon and Siren. I'm telling you, this is unprecedented what we're doing. We ain't all about just making money to cover up over wounds and pain and try to compensate for low self-esteem. No, we're creating money because that money is going to some vast vision that's in your heart. That's why we're about doing all of this work to create more than enough money so you're not trying to put together a GoFundMe out of desperation because you ain't got the money, or you don't even have the network that has the money. So let me take it back to this engineer and why it's so important for you to agree, and why it's important for me to sell the steak and not just the sizzle. I mean, this woman was the epitome of ready. I told you everything she said. Ready, willing. She invested $12,000. If somebody came to you with the work that you do in your ancestral work, your healing work, your prosperity work, and gave you their credit card and invested $12,000, wouldn't you be absolutely convinced that they were really ready to play? Really ready? This is so much bigger than money. You guys, I've been doing this for years. I know this shit through and through. Now listen, I'm not perfect. Don't come at me with this, put me on some pedestal like I won't bleed if you put take a blade and fucking put it through my chest. All right? I'm saying I have seen so much, and I know because of my willingness to confront all shadow, to confront I run from nothing. Nothing. Me and this woman was working together for about a month and a half. She signed up for a 6-month contract for us to work together. This is years ago. 6-month contract. We're about a month and a half into this contract. And it was time for her to get into some action in her manifestation. Okay. She started getting into action then. And so, you know, in the work that we do, we don't automatically get into action. There's foundational work that's required. And there's even more foundational work that's required now because I've learned over the years that there's lots of priming that's required before direct action. Before direct, clear, assertive action, there's foundational work to be done. Because when you start getting hit, right? And then also what happens is the level of hit the hits are different when you're in building a foundation versus when you're erecting the house, okay? That's a whole other, you can see how that's a complex, right? Detailed conversation. So the point that I'm making here is that she and I only did about a month and a half of foundational work. Now, that's why I've been saying 2 years minimum for you to become embodied. And I've gotten to that because of watching how women act over these last, like I said, 2011 is when I started, but I'm saying since 2014, I have looked through a different lens because I have been different. I have been willing to play at levels that I was not willing to play at prior to 2014. So I've watched women, young women in their 20s, women in their 50s, Black women, other women, women in other countries, different socioeconomic classes. I've seen what is universal, what is Black, what is not Black. Like I've seen, and what is universal is the building of a foundation before getting into direct action. Okay. When I say building a foundation, I mean exploring oneself internally on purpose before getting into money manifestation and other forms of manifestation. Okay. So confronting oneself, answering questions, and so much more. And so that's what we do here at Melon and Siren. That's why I'm telling you 2 years doing this foundational work so that you actually become embodied, and it's a first nature way of being. So here, month and a half with this woman, engineer, looking to go from engineer full-time, drop engineer eventually, and full-time doing her spiritual transformational work. Month and a half foundational work. She had some work from me to go get into direct action in her manifestation, and she did that. And the people in her environment, isn't it always the people closest to you? The people who you don't know be cheering you on. Folks in other countries you ain't never met who you be Facebook friends with be cheering you on, right? Your mama and your friends, the ones be like, girl, what you doing? Wow, huh? What? Right? And that's exactly what happened with her. And we hadn't done enough. When I look at it in retrospect, we hadn't, first of all, I did not sell her the steak, first of all, right? Which is why I no longer just sell sizzle. The title of this video is Agree to Get Your Ass Kicked. That's not an accident, okay? One, we didn't do enough foundational work. So she was not ready for people around her questioning, poking at the parts of her that were fragile still. The parts of her that was still afraid to really be in full power. So that's why when I have conversations, particularly with folks who are meant to be team members, and folks who are meant to work with me closely. If you're in like a group setting and we're going to be at a lower level of intimacy, fine, right? But if we're going to work one-on-one, with a whole other level of intimacy and potency, if you're going to be on my team, we are going to talk directly about devil attacks. Directly. Because it is critical that you're able to withstand that, because the work that you're doing with me is coming into the kind of power that the larger world rejects, that the larger world attacks. Remember, the other day I talked about the onion, that I'm the purest core of the onion. The masses represent the outermost layer, and who I'm serving are the first two layers out from the core, and then you're serving one of those layers or other layers out, and potentially the masses. You get that? So when you work with me intimately, right, it even takes a certain kind of person to even be drawn to working with me intimately. It takes a certain type of person to even be willing to invest thousands of dollars for us to work intimately together. A person who's further outer from the onion is not going to be drawn to work intimately with me. That's a whole law spiritual thing. So I don't even concern myself with that. It has its own rhythm in communication. So when someone actually gets to the point where they're DMing me about us working together privately, or contacting me about being on the team, I know that a conversation will be had with them about that's one piece of it, but how will you? Are you willing to withstand all of the muggle people? Like Harry Potter talks about the muggle people. All of the asleep people, all of the muggle people, all of the people who are demanding that you wear your mask, right? All of the people who are like, it's a pandemic. People don't have money. How dare you do that, right? The people who, when you put a $5,000 price tag on your high spiritual work, look you up and down, right? Spiritually look you up and down and question your motives and your intent and who you think you are, and or people who have secret desires to do more, have more, become more, and they've been unwilling, and they see you being what they wish they could, and they send you subtle messages, subtle communication. And if you're deep into your intuition, you can even pick up on it in their auric field about who you're being. Like, are you see this level of nuance? You know, I didn't realize my agreement and submission to the all over the years has exponentially opened my field to be able to interpret communication in many forms. And there are things that I know and admit now that I would not allow myself to know 5 years ago. And so people would say things and do things like it was all there all along. And because I was not willing to embody vast power, because I was not willing to admit what I know at a body level, I would not allow that which was around me all the time to really penetrate my system and my consciousness. I would betray myself. I would say things I wouldn't mean. I would allow myself to agree to things that my deeper self didn't actually wish to allow. I mean, there was just so much. This is deep and profound. When I talk about embodying vast power, you're getting it as I'm speaking. I know you are. So this is just a little bit. Like this richness that I'm sharing right here is just a little bit. Can you believe it? The more bit is happening inside of the 5-day Money Vortex. Again, the link is with this video. To email us, to send us your email, and to receive details and an invitation. The Vortex starts July 27th. The Money Vortex, the 5-day Money Vortex starts July 27th. And so what I'm so pleased with and so committed to and it's so at home with in working specifically with melanin transformational leaders is, wow, the wildness. Wow. The emails that are coming in, right? The people who are watching, who I energetically know who are watching, but they're not engaging. The emails that are coming in. The impact that's being had under the radar. The impact that's being had under the radar. Sort of like the Great Migration between 1915 and 1970, where Black folks started migrating from the South up to the North and the West. Nobody in the larger world knew it was happening. Only Black folks knew it was happening. So there's no, other than this book I told you guys I'm reading, A Warmth of Other Suns, her book is like the greatest research of the Great Migration. The greatest impact that happened under the radar. Under the radar. And it's almost like, not even almost, it's like it's of its own volition. I've talked about when you really submit to the power that you are, there are words and ways that are communicated to you. Like trying to figure things out, like that ceases when you submit to the power that you already are. There's no making anything up. There's no trying. There's no like journaling. You know, all these new age things that we are told to do to manifest things and to create new realities. You just submit to the power that you already are. And nobody knows when you do it. Just you. I mean, initially, right? When you start getting into the actions that are a result of that, yeah, people see it and feel it. But in the moment that you do it, it's just you. You and the Most High, quiet, in your bed, in the bathtub, sitting on your couch, walking down the street. And it's soft. It's not this making it happen, forceful energy. Now, I may have taken some, getting sick and tired of being sick and tired or something compelling that gets you there. But when you make the real decision, and I'm talking about a decision that drives action. You know how you make a decision, you're like, I thought I decided, but then you like really decide? That's the decision I'm talking about, when you really decide, right? You're welcome, Asiri. Thank you for being here and thank you for showing up. When you make that decision, the real one, it's like that. And then that's where you working with Melon and Sovereignty can really happen. It can really happen. I'm no longer interested in this gas on the foot, gas on the brake. I know what that looks like. I know what it feels like. But I didn't finish telling you that dropped in to finish. Now the connection is being made. That engineer quit. She invested $12,000 and she quit after a month and a half. She said her family members and other people in her world told her she was begging. She was Black. You've heard me talk about the poor Black consciousness. Part of that poor Black consciousness is Black folks have been taught that asking or making offers or being very clear and direct in invitations is a form of begging. Like, don't do anything that makes it look like you want something, or you asking, or don't do anything. Do you know this takes a village? What you gonna lift up a damn 6-foot house a 6-story house by yourself? You gonna erect a beacon of light in the world by yourself? You gonna build out the vision that God gave you by yourself? That's what I mean about this poor Black consciousness that melanin sovereignty, just by its very being, is eradicating. I remember I was in Oakland, California, and I was putting together this event, and it was a powerful event. And I went to this barbershop, and it was like 7 Black men in there. And I had been sharing it around the city of Oakland. This was years ago, like 2012. And I had been sharing it around Oakland, and I went into this barbershop to share it with them, to ask them to help me spread the word. And one of the men who was in that barbershop had seen me somewhere else talking about the event, sharing it. And I went in there and I asked the owner of the shop, or whoever, the guy who was in charge, if I could like make an announcement to the whole barbershop. And he was like, yeah, sure. I told him what it was about and all that. He was like, yeah, sure. So I did that. I made the announcement in front of the whole barbershop, what I was there for, what it was about, what the event was, what I was looking for from them, etc. And one of the Black men said, and he came over to me and said it, but still, the fact that his thinking is just such a reflection of what I'm talking about here. He was like, yeah, I help you since you around here begging. And I thought to myself, I didn't say anything to him, but I thought to myself, begging? I'm asking for your help. This event is important to me. I'm aware that it's going to take multiple people to spread the word about this event. It's important. My asking is begging? That's the poor Black consciousness that I'm talking about. And you must, and you will, with melanin sovereignty, saturate yourself with the truth so that these kinds of lies alchemize. So that when somebody comes to you and says to you, you out here begging, you charging $5,000, you being greedy. Girl, what kind of fraud shit is this? Girl, is this a scam? That you can be so clean and clear and know why you're doing what you do, why it matters to you, who will be positively impacted, so that one, those happenings decrease in your life, first of all, right? Because if they're happening in your world, that means there's something in your field that is welcoming to them. So one, and then two, so that when it does happen, you handle this shit so majestically that people, it's just like it just falls in your presence. That people feel stupid for even saying it to you. That they correct within themselves by the quality and tone of your response. You see the superiority of what we're doing here at Melanin Sovereignty? This is it. This is it. This is it. I am utterly complete and clear about that. Completely. This is what's missing. We're so afraid of somebody Black. We're afraid of somebody Black saying these kinds of things to us. And fill in the blank. You got yours, right? Right? Because each state right? Got different language and culture, right? They got a different language in Houston than they do in Mississippi, than they do in Atlanta, than they do in South Florida, than they do in right? What are you concerned about people saying to you when you show up in full power, unapologetically, embodied, that this is who you are, this is what you offer, this is the price, this is your standard, and you hold the standard of you are in or you are out. And let the people who are out and who vehemently disagree with you, while they wail and holler and all of that, you are clear, solid. You see why? If somebody's going to be on the team here at Melon and Sovereignty, if somebody's going to work with me privately, I'm so stern in what we discussed beforehand. It's because I'm already embodied. You are coming into embodiment. So I must prime you. I must ready you to be able to be out here in the world as you are coming into your first nature way of embodiment. You see? 2 years of practicing, doing this work, resting, right? I keep saying resting, baby, because resting is required. It is on the menu and it is at the top of the menu. Resting, practicing again, having conversations, confronting yourself, resting some more, doing this work, making offers, getting your desires met, right? I'm telling you, you get a big deal, somebody invests, let's say your current comfort level of money. Let's say it's $1,000. Let's say your current comfort is $1,000 for somebody to work with you. And let's say working with me, you bump it up to $5,000 and you collect that first $5,000. Or let's say whether you collect the full $5,000 or let's say you split it into 3 payments or half a payment. But the more I find, the more that you collect, the more that you got to go rest afterwards. People talk about it, but the actual embodiment and action of it is another thing. Of actually collecting $5,000. So let's say your normal is $1,000. You collect $5,000, or you collect $10,000, or you collect $30,000. Baby, you will require rest. You hear me? Because there's been this buildup, there's been this priming, there's been readying yourself for such a thing. It doesn't just drop. I'm talking about sustainably making money. You know, these people talking about, oh, I manifested money out of nowhere, money out of thin air, because they got a check in the mail they weren't expecting, or they got a this. That's nice. Is your wealth being built like that? Out of just random, I don't know, checks coming in the mail? I'm talking about an actual business where you do this like in order. It's a long-term thing. When you collect your first $10,000, your first whatever, baby girl, all that collecting sound, right? When you actually collect and let's say you have PayPal, right? And you on the phone with them, and let's say you've already decided before you got on the phone that you got these 2 packages. One is $5,000 and one is $10,000. And you have your links for payment ready, right? And so let's say you're on the phone with a prospect and it's decided that you've already decided, you've assessed them before the call, you've done your screening, and during the call, you guys are coming to conclusion about yes or no, working together, right? And it's decided that you guys are working together at a $10,000 level and you already got your link ready, right? And so they have said yes to the offer. And you say to them, okay, great. So let's take care of payment. Go ahead and open up your email. What's your email address? And right there, while you're on the phone with them, you open up and you email them the link to make payment, right? And it's just different ways. Maybe they're going to wire it, right? So I'm just using this as an example. And they pull out their credit card on the phone with you and you send them the link and they complete the payment, right? And they tell you, okay, I just did it. And you right there on the phone with them, refresh your PayPal screen on your laptop and you see 9,000 whatever, because the fee that comes out with PayPal, you see 9,800 and something dollars, and your body floods with sensation. Oh, your body floods, right? You let them know it was a good choice. You're excited. They're excited. You two share excitement on the phone right there. You tell them whatever the next steps are going to be. Boom. Maybe you schedule the next call right there, or you let them know you're going to send them a link with your calendar so they can schedule, however you got your system set up, right? And you get off the phone, right? You get up, you call somebody who you want to tell, your mama, your friend, your coach, girl, right? Maybe you got a list of things that you already said you were going to invest in. Your back been hurting and you've been wanting to hire this bodywork practitioner. You were at the co-op and there was this food situation you wanted to buy. There's this particular high-end program you want to invest in. This retreat, this healing retreat, this beauty retreat, whatever, all the things that been on your investment to buy. You go buy them right there, right? Because you've been doing the work to get ready to receive this money, right? And so the rest of your day is just energy. You excited. Your body is just I'm tingling right now, just telling the story. You tingling. You excited. Oh my God, right? And then nighttime coming, you just in prayer and you in gratitude and you so thankful for your client, and you go talk to God and you talk to the ancestors and you go back and you look at your bank account like, oh this is real. I really did this. And I can say this to you because I have lived this so many times with myself and with my clients at different levels. Because when you've been struggling to just do 1,000 and you do your first $2,500 client, it's a big fucking deal, right? If you've been doing $2,500 with ease and you do your first $10,000 client, you are through the fucking roof, right? And so evening comes and you're winding down and you're in gratitude and your confidence is through the roof. One of my former coaches used to say, people running around here reading books and all this shit, trying to build up confidence. Go make some money. That'll build up your confidence, right? So you just full of confidence. And you ready to kill it. You like, it's on, right? You like, it's on. I did that. I know I can keep doing that. So now you feel confident that you can have consistent $10,000 months. Not just a one-off, lucky, whatever. Consistent $10,000 months, right? So then you go to sleep and you wake up and you're feeling kind of tired, right? And you just like the energy of yesterday and, getting the client, seeing the money in your account, going, you're getting ready to go see this bodywork practitioner because you booked her yesterday. You signed up for that retreat that you was working on making the money for. You had all these conversations with your mom and your coach and your friends, and that was a bunch of electricity running through your body. You danced. You was just high all day yesterday, right? And here you are today and you tired. Girl, you like, I gotta rest. Girl, I gotta rest. So you lay up for the day. You go take you a shower. If you was lucky and her schedule was open, maybe you go see your bodywork practitioner that day. You go eat you and drink you something good. You check up and see what's going on. Maybe you share something positive, right? Baby girl, it takes rest in this manifestation work. It takes rest. And then when you normalize that, when that becomes normal, because there are levels, baby. When that becomes normal, 10,000, like some people are very okay. Like that's it for them. That's in their path, their life path to do. And by the way, 10,000 is, so remember, 6 figures is $8,334 a month. So if you're doing 10,000, you're beyond $100,000 a year, right? Now, it is in some people's path to exceed $100,000. So those are the people who get to $10,000 and they like, I ain't even started. And then so they go to normalizing $20,000 a month. And it's the same thing, just a new level. Same thing, just a new level. So a lot of the things that you mostly made it through down here, but not fully, they will present themselves to you again as you're going from 10 to 20,000. Those things that you easily or that you hardly are able to deal with from 1,000 to 10,000 present themselves in shining light when you're going from 10 to 20. Like it's the same shit, just new level and new levels of maturity that are required of you at new levels. It's not harder work. That's what poor people don't realize. It's not more work. It's none of that. No, it's leveraging, it's systems, it's different energy, understanding the energetics of money. Money is not you work for it. 9 to 5 people then got everybody thinking that that's how you do. No, anyway. So that's a whole other conversation. I could teach on this forever. So agree to get your ass kicked so you learn to kick ass. When you run, the way that engineer quit after a month and a half because people told her she was begging, she left the ass kicking. She left the ring. So now she don't know how to kick ass. Well, I don't know what she's doing now, right? We haven't been in contact, but when you leave the ring, you basically you agree to get your ass kicked and not fight back. That's what happens when you leave. When you quit, you agree to get your ass kicked and not fight back. So as you consider, if you haven't already, as you consider signing up for the 5-day Money Vortex that starts July 27th, the link is with this video. I'd like for you to ask yourself, am I willing to agree to get my ass kicked so I can get the steak on the other side? So I can get the travel without looking at the bank account. So I can get, fill in the blank of whatever the material thing is you want, the epic life, right? You are not going to get there without getting your ass kicked. And in getting your ass kicked, you learn how to kick ass. There are blessings in getting played. There are blessings in getting played. Hey, Sarita. There are blessings in getting paid. This kind of seems like I'm preaching to the choir when I say this, but when you got played or heartbroken or whatever, didn't you get better? Like when you really allowed yourself to look at it, if you were in any kind of victim consciousness and you took yourself out of victim consciousness, because there are no victims, there are only willing participants. So if you were in any kind of victim consciousness and you stepped back and you looked at the situation, weren't you able to see how much of a blessing that thing that looked like betrayal actually was for you? That thing that looked like what they did to me. They did that to me. That was wrong. That was bad. That was so foul what they did to me. They are the, oh my God, they are the villain and the monster. There are no victims, only willing participants. When that ever happened to you, and it happened for me, where I felt betrayed in a relationship with a client, and I was full of rage and anger. I did a whole video on it here on the page, and it was about heart restoration. That's what the video was about. And when I got out of my rage and my anger and like that bitch, and it's so easy to be like mad at people. Like the people you see on the internet right now, blaming, I'm offended. Girl, if somebody tells me they're offended, they're out of power. We're not even talking because you're not talking to me from a powerful position. We are not even equal enough to have a conversation, I'm unoffendable. You can't offend me. In order for somebody to offend you, that means you must agree which means you're taking their word as more important than yours. First of all, you check in with you before you agree to have somebody else's words influence your world. You understand what I'm saying? So when I finally got through with being angry and rageful and being like, you bitch, and I sat back and I was like, oh, wait a minute, Naima. You actually agreed to some shit here. You actually knew some shit and decided to be quiet about it. You actually agreed to some shit you didn't want to agree to, actually. See, that's power. I don't care how bad it hurt. The sting, the betrayal, all of that. That's why you even leaning into melon sovereignty beyond this free shit, investing money to work with us, you mean business. Hearing this, what I'm sharing, and you knowing what you signing up for. So you know you signing up for the real deal. The real deal. Full embodied power. Where if a thing impacts you in that way, it's because you agree for it to impact you in that way. That's a very powerful position. You agree. You become unoffendable. Offend? What? And no, you're not perfect and stoic and emotionless. You're just so highly self-aware. You're so keenly attuned to energies and subtleties. You don't run from any shadow. You don't run from anything that even slightly appears like a spiritual attack. You don't run from entities that enter your field. If you sense something, if you see something that moves up the corner of your eye, or you see actual spirits move around, you run from none of that. None of it. You communicate with everything. And you relax around it all, and you recognize that no thing and nobody has any power over you without your agreement. Zero. Without your agreement. This is what melanin folk is missing. And that's why here at Melon and Sovereignty, we hold this high standard in perpetuity. In perpetuity. Until the last breath leaves my body. You hear me? Exactly, Asiri. Now, it's going from theorizing and intellectualizing and feeling all high here with me and embodying it for yourself. So it becomes your first nature way of being. That's it. Any questions or comments before I go? Who is this on YouTube? Say hi. Who is that? I'm going to stick around for 35-ish seconds to see if somebody got something to say that they'd like for me to answer or respond to. 35 seconds. 30, 29, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 20 seconds. I love you guys. It is a joy and honor for me to be here. You can DM me if you'd like to discuss what it would take to work privately together, if you see that for yourself. The 5-day Money Vortex begins July 27th. The link is with the video to come join us, or to at least send us your email to get details about joining us. And that completes my time here with you today. You are very welcome, Sarita. Please share this video right now. Share this video. Share the great nourishment and the great gospel. Au revoir.